So everyone loves to say, we support the troops. I remember seeing those little car magnets on every single car. And people would wave the flag and say, you know, we love the troops, support the troops, troops. And at every sporting event, they would trot out the troops in some kind of way and, you know, use them like some sort of prop and say, see, we love the troops. And, you know, it drives me crazy because I hate that. It's fine to pay lip service, but what I want is some action. And unfortunately, our troops are getting screwed badly. So, so the Center for Investigative Reporting, CIR, did a great investigation on what's happening with our troops. So Aaron Glantz over there, he did this great report. And basically the Department of Veterans Affairs, they're failing. They are failing in a horrible way. So we have a graphic for you about the average wait time for veterans to receive their benefits. So the overall average is 273 days. For first-time filers, they have to wait 321 days. It's almost a full year before they get anything. And in major cities like New York and LA, they're waiting almost 2 years. That is crazy. So these are people who are suffering from post-traumatic stress syndrome, massive brain damage. They can't work, they can't make any money, and they can't get a check from our government
for the basic minimal needs of just getting by.
So where are the Republicans that said that we need to support our troops? And if you ever said anything to criticize the war in Iraq, they would immediately accuse you of being unpatriotic and an individual who doesn't support the troops. Right. Also, where are the pro-gun advocates that say we need to focus on mental health care in the United States? That's why we see these mass shootings. These soldiers, as you mentioned, are dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder. They need mental health care so you know they can live better lives. But we're completely ignoring them. And by the way, this is a massive failure on the part of the Obama administration because he completely dropped the ball on this. It was part of his 2008 platform, right? But like many things that were part of his 2008 platform, he dropped the ball. And he's not doing what's necessary to make sure that these soldiers, that these vets get the health care that they need.
So it's incredible how many vets are in dire need of these benefits. So in 2009, there were 11,000 veterans who had to wait more than a year to receive a check from the government. And by 2012, there's 900,000 veterans just waiting for some assistance from the government that sent them to war and, you know, made them...
It's something like 10 months now just to get their initial claim addressed by workers at the VA. Now, there is something to be said, of course, for the fact that there is a huge influx of new veterans returning from Iraq and Afghanistan as those wars have ended. So, you know, there's going to be quite a bit of a big rush for that. But, you know, I'm glad that the wars are over now, but that does not make sense to have the VA not have the higher funding and to not have the increase in employees that they said that they were going to do. I think the report actually does a very good job of saying, you know, that the VA promised to have, I think, something like 3,000 new employees hired, and they have not done that. So what's the holdup?
Yeah, so let's talk about what this means for veterans that have to wait 300 days, 600 days. Well, I mean, if you're just waiting in the comfort of your own home and, you know, you're watching TV, I guess it's not so bad. But the reality is these veterans, as a result of the wait, can't pay their rent. So they become homeless. They can't buy medication. So they feel worse and in some cases spiral out of control. And they feel abandoned and they feel hopeless. And what happens is the suicide rate among veterans is sky high.
Yeah. There was, in the report that you're referencing, there was one soldier who said, I'm not surprised that all these soldiers are killing themselves.
That's right. So how many are killing themselves? We have 22 soldiers killing themselves every single day. 22 every day.
It's just, it's mind-boggling that we are again in this place. You know, we had this issue with the Vietnam veterans coming back, and then it got a little bit better after the Gulf War. You know, that there was this, you know, we had parades, we had a lot of folks who were like, oh, let's see, we're going to do better this time. But then, you know, with the shoddy way that the war in Iraq and Afghanistan have been conducted. And since then, I mean, not just, you know, it's great to blame the Bush administration, and by God, they deserve it. But the fact that the Obama administration has not done any better, even granted with the influx of new veterans coming in, we still should be better than that. We are better than that. Our veterans deserve better than that. I mean, it's a sacred promise. I have family members who went over there. They are still waiting for their benefits. It is extremely infuriating.
it sickens me. It boils my blood to see this. I mean, how long do you think Halliburton waited for their checks? Do you think they waited 600 days for their checks? How long did KBR wait for their checks? Do you think they waited 600 days for their checks? How about Dick Cheney? How long did he have to wait for his check from Halliburton when he became vice president and funneled all these contracts to them?